Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. You know what, man? I had the riding on the lifeboat. I had that queued up. I was going to play it, and then I kind of got sidetracked. I forgot what the hell I was doing, and yeah, kind of blew that. I was hoping to play the theme song that had been written for us by the guys at Marfugal when they did the whole Marfugal Jams thing on their channel. They have at the very end of what they do, they go into this kind of just a jam. They just jam out the tunes and kind of makes the beats himself. And it's Adam from Marfugal News or Marfugal TV. And Adam's got the guy's got skills. I know we've got a lot of people over here that are Fugal fam, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But I had it queued up because he actually wrote one for us. He did a 16-minute tune one day for the lifeboat. It's one of the highlights of my entire year last year, if you want to know the truth. Unpredictable Tony, you chilly head. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. It's a man that likes to burn. Got to respect that. Flamin' Jackson, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Very, very cool, man. Very cool. All right, people. So today we did a video with I had a picture up of Aaron from growing up in Scientology, and boy, we got a lot of views on that. You know what it is? It's just that handsome mug of his. We've made him an honorary captain here on the boat for the mad amount of growth that he has helped the lifeboat achieve. And you know what's the best part of all of it, truthfully, is that the people that are coming over here are not, I don't know how to say this, they're just not, it's not like they're new, if that makes sense. It's like, these people show up and a couple of days later, it's like they've been here forever. And it's, hold on one second. Sorry, people, camera's going to jump. Please pray for my ex-girlfriend. She relapsed. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Unpredictable Tony. And obviously left me because of it. Well, you know what, Tony? I will absolutely keep her in prayers. I am sorry to hear that, man. I really am. That's tough. And you know what? It's part of this process, sadly. It really is, right? I mean, it's just part of what we go through. And whether this is something that has occurred to you before you got rolling, the number of people that I talk to about drugs, I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty much all I do, right? Or I'm selling somebody a watch. But other than those, I'm not talking to people about other things, right? That this is what I do. And you hear all the time when it gets closer to to that time when people are ready to quit. You hear people say things about they're just tired of fighting, man. They're tired of And addiction is a fight. Make no mistake. You got to get up every day. You have to maintain that buzz. It's a job. It's a full-time friggin' job. And I understand what people mean by that when they say, you know what, I don't have the fight in me anymore, man. 20 years of figuring out a way to get screwed up on dope every single day, and I can't do it again. But I got news for you. If you think that is the end of the fight, people, the entire walk of sobriety is a fight. It is every single step of the way. I'm sorry to tell you that if you're new to this, but hold on one second. Quiet Girl, hang in there, hon. She's Quiet Girl says she's starting her next cut down. She's been tapering off of clonazepam, which is a really, really rugged benzodiazepine. She's doing it with she has been advised by professionals. So before anybody freaks out, we do not recommend that anybody comes off of benzodiazepines without talking to a medical professional. We also don't suggest that you quit anything without talking to a medical professional. Perfect case scenario. But if it happens to be alcohol or benzodiazepines, it is a must, because cold turkey off of either of those drugs can kill you. Plain and simple. We're not churching that up or making it any worse than it is. It will absolutely kill you. I've told this story many times on the lifeboat before, but when I was skiing, there were places that if you're a skier and you're you're worth a fart on skis. There are places all over the country that are kind of like, I don't know, maybe a test of your abilities, a test of your guts. I mean, whatever the case may be. But these were rugged terrain, and more often than not, almost always, it is only accessible by hiking. Sometimes you could take a helicopter to the top or whatever, but there were some places that, like couloirs, right, where the only way to ski this is to hike it. You have to hike directly up, which you are going to be coming back down. You can't land the helicopter there. You can't climb there from the other side. This is the only way to go, right? It's a couloir. You're going to go straight up. You're going to go straight down. And I hated hiking. And the battle cry at the time was always, you know what? I'm a skier, man. I'm not a hiker. The only time I hiked is if somebody was willing to pay for maybe a photo shoot, or maybe there was just a chance of getting a really ridiculous photo or some really cool video or something that I could keep. But these hikes sometimes were absolutely brutal. And we did a place in Little Cottonwood Canyon in Utah. So if you have any Utah people here, there's a place up there called the Y Couloir. And the reason it's called that is because as you get to the top of this puppy, it splits off like a Y. So it literally looks like a letter Y. And I've told the story before about a time where I hiked above the clouds. It's absolutely like communing with God kind of stuff. It was the middle of a driving snowstorm. And we had started climbing at I don't remember what it was. It was so damn early, 2 a.m., something like that, 3 a.m. We started hiking. And for a very long part of this, it's not that bad. And you just sort of trudge along. But as you start getting closer to the head wall, you're post-holing. So picture your leg disappearing all the way up to your inseam. And you're fighting for every 2 feet that you have to hike. But you got to get to the top, right? You're not going to start this descent until you reach the top. But you're fighting for every foot. The only reason that I was willing to do these things more than once, because I hated it, was that there was something so rewarding about that process where you fight for 2 steps, but you've moved 3.5 feet. And you know what? You're never going to have to take that 3.5 feet again, right? It's behind you. And no matter how ugly it was, and you got skis on your back and you're literally just like punching your arms into the same wall that you're trying to drag your legs up into. Terrible, terrible conditions. Not a whole lot of fun. But every single step was territory in the rearview mirror that you were never going to have to overcome again. And that is sobriety. Honest to God, people, from Jump Street, that is what sobriety is. That is what changing who you are is. Right? Even if you have nothing in your life that ever resembled a dependency to a chemical, right? To booze, to drugs, to anything, regardless. If there's something in your life that you are just so damn unhappy with that you feel the need to change it, there's no difference. Same process. You understand this concept, right? You identify the problem, and then you have to take steps to replace the habits that cause you to do this that you want to quit, and change them. It's the exact same thing that we do in sobriety, right? We eliminate the problem. The problem is drinking. We stop drinking, right? We get about 8-9 days in, right? And our brain chemistry starts to level out. And by the second week, we're done. As far as brain chemistry goes, our brain is back to where it is supposed to be. And now it is just a matter of figuring out what the hell to do next, right? Because I promise you, people, that's the easy part. That's not the fighting. That's a couple of days. You know, we go through that 72 hours, and I'm not downplaying withdrawal, people. I spent a good chunk of my life in it, and it is the worst. It really is. It's the worst. But there's a bunch of ways now. If what's keeping you from quitting is the fear of withdrawal, there are so many programs that are now designed to get people off of opioids or off of even alcohol without going through that process. This is the purpose of going and seeing a doctor and talking to them about medical assisted treatment from the word go. And you can take medical assisted treatment as far as you want. You can take it from the time you walk in the front door until the time you are 6 years sober, that you're still going to them and you're still getting different medications that are going to assist in you quitting your substance of choice. Or you can just let them help you get through that first ordeal. If it's heroin and you're thinking to yourself, I got to go through that 7 days of hell, which I just cannot do. You can sleep through that 7 days. That is the standard operating procedure if you go in for medical assisted treatment on this. They will give you really, really strong benzos, like the kind that our friend Quiet Girl is getting off right now, right? They will give you a pile of really strong benzos and knock you unconscious. I mean, literally. And then a couple of orderlies will come bedside and they will wake you up. They will walk you to the bathroom, make sure that you get your business done. And as you're stumbling back to your bed to lay back down and go to sleep, they'll give you another pill. And that's what they do over the course of an entire week. And they step the strength of the pill down so that, if this were a real fiscal kind of a week, you start this on a Monday, by Friday or Saturday, the amount of the benzo that you're taking is considerably lower, and it is a different drug than what you started off. But now all of that crap's in the rearview mirror, right? That chemical dependency part of this, that's done. I realize it's a lifelong struggle, right? I'm 8 years off of opiates, but it's right. You're addicted. You're not addicted. When that 72 hours is gone and that stuff is out of your system, you are no longer physically addicted to that substance. You could talk yourself into the fact that you need it. I did for years. But that physical need, that's gone. Now what takes over is the psychological desire to do. And that is hands down 500 times worse than any physical that you're going to come across. I promise you, forget about it. When the psychological draw back to your substance of choice kicks in, if you do not have a support system in place, if you do not have a plan for your recovery, you will use again. That's it. Plain and simple. If you think that you go in, you do the spin dry, 7 days later, you're done, right? Now I can walk back out. I got nothing to worry about. I'm going to go back to work. I'm not buying any more of that crap. I deleted the number out of my phone. I'm not calling that guy. Most people won't make 3 days. Simply put, they won't. Why? Well, because the entire time that they've been doing whatever the drug is, the entire time that you've been addicted to that drug, you haven't been dealing with anything emotionally. Nothing. Anything that comes down the pike is just a little bit too much to deal with. The drug knocks that off. You're a little bit too happy. The drug knocks that off, right? You're depressed. Somebody died. I don't care what the emotion is. Your drug is knocking that off so that you do not have to cope with it. You say, that's really kind of not the case with me. Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, it is. Even if you don't want to avoid what's going on, even if your substance, you abusing substances has nothing to do with that in your head, you're not dealing emotionally with the things going on in your life. If you're getting high every day, you're not. It just doesn't allow you to. Right? It doesn't even matter what the substance is. All of those substances have an effect on us that goes far beyond the red eyes and the bit of a stumble. These things make it so that we do not have the ability or the capacity to cope with things that come through emotionally. We table the motion. You understand? We put that away for a later date. I'm not going to deal with it today. I'm going to get loaded. I'll deal with it tomorrow or Tuesday, right? Maybe by next Tuesday. And we just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And then what do? We go to bed at night, wasted, been looped all day, been high all day, been twisted, tweaked, whatever, right? All day long, you've been going. And now it's time to lay down, and all of that stuff that we didn't deal with, all of the stuff that came up that day that we should have dealt with, is all going to be parked right about here. And we're going to go to sleep. And that stuff's going to get filed away in a big, huge file cabinet in your brain that says, stuff I should have dealt with. And for a lot of us, by the time we quit, it's like 4, storage lots full of files of things that we should have dealt with. That's why when we start the process of fighting for a new life. One of the things that we do from Jump Street, from the word go, is we start to journal about our entire process. It does a lot of things. One of the things it does is it puts a halt to you putting any more crap in your filing cabinets. For real. You're not going to bed with things that are unresolved hanging out on your frontal lobe. And if you take the time to write that stuff down, at least from this point forward, right? Picture if someday somebody got into the office and said, we're going to actually stop spending more money than we have, right? No more deficit. You still have to have that point at which you draw a line and you say, okay, but at least we're going to stop hemorrhaging from this point forward. Well, that's what journaling starts you doing. And then as you start to journal more and you start to peel back the onion and you start to look at your life and delve into some subjects that get you thinking about past girlfriends, past places that you've lived, friends that you no longer talk to. As you start to journal and all of these things come up, you're going to start finding some pretty heavy duty realizations that are going to come to you, where you're going to find yourself going, damn, you know what? That right there played a hand in me getting wasted every single day. Hey, Johnny Scoville, Chase the Heat. How are you, brother? Good to see you, Johnny. It's always a pleasure when my brother Johnny says hi. He's always here. He's a lurker. Just know that. No joke. He's a lurker. All right, people. There was something else that I wanted to talk about, and it's a little off the subject, but I jot notes down. My journal is usually like a couple of feet away from me, and I jot things down. Boy, I know that's true. Johnny says I'm better than I deserve. A lot of truth to that. But I jot notes down and I kind of leave them here. And they're not always very well organized. Kind of not that person. Sometimes I hear something and I'll write it down and it will be like in the middle of something that was actually organized at one time, and then written across it will be something completely different. But nevertheless, every time I look over, I see this and I think, all right, you know what? I'm going to spit this out now and then I'll get back to what I was talking about. But interesting thing. I've been talking with a lot of people lately who are abusing Trank. And this is new. I mean, we've been talking about Trank for a year, but we really haven't had anybody on the lifeboat that would admit to it. I mean, there were people that come on and say that they're doing some fent or whatever, but you don't hear anybody say, oh no, what I'm doing is Trank. And now, damn, man, in the course of about a 2-week period of time, we've probably got about a dozen people that are doing it. And man, I had a conversation yesterday with one of them, and this individual is in Denver, Colorado. This person said, I was kind of like you. I did H for a very long time. He said, and then the H kind of went away, and I started doing this fence stuff. And he wasn't buying it in the pill form. He's been buying it in a colored powder. That very often he gets it and it's pink. Sometimes it's blue, but he just buys this colored powder. He said it's kind of chalky, sticks together a little bit. But recently they have begun to cut this with xylazine. And this was one of the most incredible conversations because we're talking about something that I have no point of reference on other than scholarly crap, stuff I read about. I mean, I understand benzos. I've done some heavy ones, right? I did when roofies were still around. We used to do a lot of them. Hypnol was really popular at one point in the 90s, and everybody was doing it. And that's a really strong benzo, right? But xylazine is so much stronger than that. It is one of these substances. But this guy says to me, but after better than 2.5 decades of slamming dope, he said, I don't care about any of that crap anymore. None of it does anything. He said, opiates are gone. He said, nothing rings his bell anymore except xylazine. And he said, and I am so addicted to that if he isn't firing this stuff first thing in the morning, then, the kind of withdrawal that these guys go into are the kind that gives you seizures. This is exactly what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Where quitting cold turkey will kill you. This is the new street drug that intravenous drug users nationwide, and sadly, this entire hemisphere right now of the world is really heavily abusing xylazine. And what's kind of sad is there's no way at this point, with how much of this crap is on the street, it's no longer feasible to think that these are people who are calling veterinarians. I mean, that may have been something that people did in the beginning. I assure you that at this point, that's not where this is coming from. Our friends, the beast from the east, right? The big red menace that wants to take over the entire freaking world. I guarantee you now that they are deep, probably knee deep or waist deep in the production of xylazine. There is too much of it everywhere. I mean, there is nowhere, anywhere in the U.S. or on this part of the planet that isn't knee deep in this poison, and it is poison, right? This stuff is way, way worse than anything that we have ever seen. At one point, I would do 5 Xanax bars a day. Lost a job one time for it. Well, that and apparently taking a nap in the men's toilet. Well, Xanax does have that effect on you, Tommy Bird. I mean, I'm not at all surprised to hear that you may have taken the restroom as a place to to maybe catch a few Z's. Xanax is, especially if you're taking that many of them, that's a heavy drug too. I'm just listening tonight. All says Snotface. You know what, Snotface? We just like knowing you're here, hon. Thank you for that. Withdrawal. I thought I was going to have a heart attack, says Seagull Rock Squawk. Well, you know what? I'm glad that you didn't, because we do lose people to this, folks. We really do. And we are entering a brand new, hello, Tina Marie. We love you too. We are entering a very, very scary time right now with this xylazine crap. But to talk to somebody that's doing it and doing it every day. And I just said to him, what's the buzz like? And he said, it's a fine line. He said, if you walked the correct line, he said that it's actually a really fun buzz as far as he's concerned, that you're very heavily sedated. It almost feels like the nod, but it just doesn't stop. You're constant. He said, but if you do 1 grain more than what you were trying to put in the spoon, he said, I will get 5 steps and be locked. He said, and just be unable to move. He said, and then when you can finally shake yourself loose, you might get 1 or 2 or 3 steps and lock up. And I said, so this is why we're seeing the pictures that people, as sad as it is, that people seem to find funny, a lot of them. The word zombie gets used again and again and again. And I don't know. I have a hard time with the zombie thing. It seems really, really disrespectful to me. These are people that are they're at the end of their rope in a place that I don't know that we've ever seen people in the drug world like this. And if you're listening to me right now and the drug that you're on is xylazine, we are not judging anybody for being on this drug. We are hurting for you because it's such a difficult thing to get off, right? This is a really, really tough substance to get off. So with that in mind, you won't be judged here. Please reach out. Let's try to get you into to somebody professional. It really is. It's terrifying stuff. It really is. And it has the added effect of that it is just not designed for human consumption. And when you start with a substance that is designed for horses and cows, how it is produced, it's not going to be to the same exact standards that would be for a human being. The testing and everything that would go through, animals just don't, it's not the same for animal medication as it is for human beings, right? It's not that hermetically sealed environment and all of that stuff. But now, more importantly, I promise you that they're making this stuff or sending the chemicals to make this stuff from China to Mexico. And now God only knows what we're getting, but it's pretty obvious because every single place that you look, there are people with huge open source. James R says elephants. That one I thought, Tommy, that would be the stuff that they were using to knock out elephants was carfentanil, which is very similar to fentanyl, but just they keep multiplying the strength and they come up with something that they call carfentanil. And carfentanil was designed actually for the use on pachyderms, right? So that was for taking elephants. But this xylazine crap that's all over the U.S. right now, the stuff that they're mixing into the trank, was designed specifically with bovine and equine. That was what the chemical was made for horses and for cattle. It's pretty terrifying stuff. And if Johnny Scoville is here, the people train don't run out of Wichita, lessen you're a hog or a cattle. Just thought I'd throw that out there. You know what? It's this is one of those. That was a big joke in the early 90s because the steroids that were out at the time, most people that were doing steroids were doing horse steroids, right? So one of the big jokes was when you would see the guys come into the gym or whatever, and they would have that sort of puffed up look because you get a different look from juice. It's not just that you're big. It looks like, oh, my brother is here. It looks like somebody put an air hose to you and just sort of, kind of blew you up. And guys would start making the Wilbur noise, like that kind of thing when somebody would walk in. Can you hear how stuffed up I am again, people? I am absolutely stuffed up. My brother, that's who's done. I am the schnoz is really stuffed up again. And it's Lady Marmalade. I know the tune. It's playing in my head right now. It really is. You know what? I'm sorry, people. This is probably slightly less than professional, and I'm probably going to lose, I don't know, a quarter of the audience at a bare minimum, but it could be closer to a half. However, this is, I really don't have a choice. I'm tired of blowing the schnoz. Just give me 2 seconds. This won't take long, I promise. Yeah. All right, we're almost done. All right. And right as rain. Sorry about that. Right as rain. This episode of The Lifeboat is brought to you by Navage for your schnoz. Thank you. Appreciate you putting up with that briefly. I'm telling you, people, it's been pretty tough. Maja. Johnny says I have PTSD from that thing. If you never saw Johnny do that, you should go over to Chase the Heat because it didn't work out so well for Johnny. I do this all the time. I do this a couple of times a day. So it's not, I don't know. It's not that big a thing. I would drown, says Betty Zoom. Clear. That's how you get clear, right? And this was only a couple of $100. You know what I mean? You save so much money going this route. That other clear method costs you a fortune. Oh boy, is that funny. That's a good one. So all joking aside, this sobriety thing, it's like climbing that mountain. One of those elephant tranquilizers might actually be the cure for that schnoz, right? Well, the schnoz there's something in common here, Tommy. My beak is pretty close to that size. It's just a happy shower for your nose, says Jason P. Nice, Lemmy. You had a conversation with a cop and did not end up arrested. That is a good thing, Lemmy. I'm proud of you. Right? Truthfully. I'm proud of you, brother. You know what Lemmy does with the camera people takes onions. You know what I'm saying? It really does. What he does is he does pretty heavy stuff. He is an auditor. So he's one of those cats that goes out and fights for your rights. And it's you run into a lot of people that don't take it very well. You know what I mean? That are not particularly cool with the fact that he's filming wherever he is. And I was watching a video of his where one of the people he was filming brandished. Yeah, it's a Nettie Scoville. There you go. I want one with I think I kind of want one with my name on it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there should be a Navage Captain Tommy version. No? Oh, there'll be some troll will make a drug joke about that. I promise you. Who do we got here? Snotface. Thank you so much. Snotface again gifted 5 memberships to people here, and it's funny, Snotface. You don't have to comment. You can just listen. But somebody reached out today and said, you know, I don't even know who to thank. I said, well, I'll give you 2 names because there's an excellent chance because it was the night that both you and Full of Hope just got ridiculously out of control. And I said, I guarantee you it's going to be one of them. And they were just so blown away. It just makes the boat look good. You guys are fantastic. Wow, really? I love getting pulled over now, though. Nope, not been drinking, but air drumming like like a mofo riot. I am not there, man. I respect that. I really get uncomfortable when I get pulled over by the law. Still, I am not there, man. I've been wanting to joke with a cop. I think I told you this story, but I've been wanting to joke with a cop for the longest time because I watch Donut Operator. I love Donut Operator. Freaking love that guy. If you've never seen his content, it is so funny. But you know, all these people, like a cop will come up to the car and they'll say to him, I need to see your driver's license and your proof of insurance. Well, I'm not driving a car. I'm just traveling. And this is my vessel. And I'm not a driver. I'm just and it's all of this stuff from the whatever. But the cops, you can just see them go, oh, Lord, not another one. And they're always getting tased and pulled out of the car. But it's a hassle. So I've said to myself, you know, the next time I get pulled over by a cop and they say, can I see your license? I'm going to say, hey, what's the problem? I'm just traveling. Right. And once they give me that look like, oh, you got to be kidding, I'll do the big laugh. And I wanted to do it so bad, but thanks, Aaron, for getting me here. That's so cool, Snotface. Thank you. And you are paying it forward so often. Really, really appreciate you. I truthfully do. It's just you're too kind. 4 says, I appreciate the membership that was given to me. I can actually see members only stuff that I wouldn't have that was even there. And we've got some new stuff coming up. I have, honestly, I'm bad at this and I'm willing to admit that. I'm absolutely horrible at it. And the problem is I went with the easiest software in the world to do my live streaming, but it doesn't give you the opportunity to do members only. In order to do that, I got to use a completely different streaming service. And it's one that is complicated as hell. And I'm not very good at it, but I'm working on this. And people say to me every time I say that, all you got to do is just go live through YouTube. And then you don't have to deal with the streaming service. And you're right. But if your streaming service is already hooked up, every time you go to do that, it just bypasses it. It sends you right back to the streaming service. I don't know how to disconnect it so that I can just go straight over. Anyway, I'm working on it, people, because there's a lot of stuff that I really want to do. Sovereign citizens. That's what it's called, Conky Dome. Sovereign citizens. I want to tell you something. Let me tell you something about the whole sovereign citizen movement. They will not allow any of that paperwork in prison. That's a true story. And First Amendment stuff, like inmates live for that. They are waiting for that, for someone to say to them, you can't have a magazine that has pictures of bang bangs in it. Can't have it. They sued, got the right to have them, right? Because you know the freedom of speech stuff is pretty sacrosanct, and the guys in there just file every single chance that they get. But the one thing that they have upheld is that they will not allow any of that stuff in there. Now, there's still a ton of it in there from before that was grandfathered in, and guys make copies and it gets passed around and all that. But what always used to make me laugh is you would go into the library and there would be like 6 of these people sitting around and discussing this about how they can't arrest you if you know what to say. And if you say this, this, and this, and I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but this is like a Saturday Night Live skit, right? Because if this worked, the 20 of you wouldn't be sitting here, right? Like it didn't work for any of you because you all got arrested and sent here anyway. But I don't know. I love, you know what, people, I can get so lost on the internet. Truthfully, it's how the whole Aaron thing is because I came across this channel and I started binge watching the crap out of it. And that's how, you know, the whole collaboration back and forth between us and growing up in Scientology, how that started. But I deep dive stuff all the time, and there's so many videos out there of those people. It never ends well for them. I have always felt a side group called Discord was sketch. Do you feel it is ethical, helpful? I want to be really honest with you. Sanitarium Radio, STFU, Darcy. I'm just going to go with Darcy. Darcy, here's the deal on that one. I'm not smart enough to answer that question. Honestly, I don't understand Discord yet. I mean, I think I understand it theoretically, but I don't know. And every day somebody approaches me and says, what the lifeboat needs more than anything in the world is a Discord server, because then people can yada, yada, yada. I kind of feel like we sort of have it on Facebook. And I know people hate Facebook. Look, I hate Facebook, right? Seriously, ask anybody. If you've ever reached out and said, oh, I'll just see if Tommy, you know, I'll try to friend Tommy. If I didn't friend you, it's not because I don't like you. It's because I don't go on Facebook. The only time I ever go there, the only thing I do is I go to the group page. I don't go anywhere else. I can't stand it. I really can't. I don't, Darcy, you know more about this than I do, obviously. Darcy says, anyone can answer. I'm curious why people would open themselves up to privacy violations. I'll be honest, Darcy, I don't know enough about this to even speak intelligently. So maybe if it's possible to explain this in, say, 10 or 15 words, 20 words, I'm sure it's not. But if somebody can, why doesn't somebody do that for me? Sorry. 4 12-count donut boxes from Dunkin' Donuts. Tim worked in the ER. I love anytime cops and donuts end up in the same story. I know that's probably not right. Discord will shut you down for no reason. They took down Marfugel's Discord. Oh, is that right? See, I don't know much about it at all. Yeah, I don't know, Darcy. I'll be really honest with you, man. You know how people say, like Aaron says, hey man, I grew up in a cult. I didn't, but I took a big vacation when technology was really starting to kind of take off. And Tommy, where did you get your nose machine? My husband is desperate for something like that. I bought mine on Amazon. Hate to say that, right? But it's the truth. I bought it on Amazon, is where I got my nose machine. And from now on, I'm calling it my nose machine because that's awesome. It really is. That's just great. Yeah, I wish I knew more about technology. I know it's hurting me and it's hurting the boat. It is. I mean, if I was better at this, we'd be moving forward a little bit better. But I'm happy with the growth. I think we're doing pretty well with the growth of the boat, and we've got just a really a solid group of people that have come over, which is awesome. It really is. There's loyalty among people here that have been here a week that you would normally think would take a year or two for that kind of loyalty to build up. But there have been so many instances of people that have shown their true colors, and it's all beautiful. It really is. It's all beautiful. This has been, it's fun, man. I hate to say it, but it really is. It's fun. Nostril siphoning cyclone sucker. I'll tell you what, that's pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie to you. And it may even be a better description, but I still just really dig nose machine. Carol, that's really good advice, and I will probably do that. Exactly that. She says, "Ask Aaron." He likes to give newbies advice. The sad thing is, like, I've actually been doing this for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a newbie. I just suck. I got 1,100 videos or something. I'm just not very good at it. It's really what it comes down to. But I do need advice to be sure. He's in the Cleveland Martial Art Hall of Fame. Lemmy was talking to an officer. Who would have known that Cleveland had a martial arts Hall of Fame? I wonder if every state does. I would imagine that would probably be the case, right? It's really becoming huge. Martial arts is becoming just really, really, because of MMA and all of the other things. I've told my brother I'd make a fortune if I could mine my snot. I'll tell you what, Ladybug, if back in the day, good Lord, I can't imagine the amount of money I'd put up my nose. It's a side hustle for Lushing. If the Discord add Marfugos amicable and harmonious, that ain't fun for whoever. I got you. So it's just I'm good. It sounds to me like it's the Drama Dome, isn't it, Darcy? It's the Drama Dome. I'm good on the Drama Dome. I'm good on that. Diana, that is excellent information because they did put me on beta blockers. I'm on them right now. I'm more personable and have fun stories. I don't know who I'm more personable than, but I'll take that. Appreciate you, man. I really do. Thank you. That's very kind. Oh, you could hang wallpaper out of the stuff that came out of my out of the old schnoz. There's no question whatsoever. You can hang wallpaper, right? You could hang wallpaper made of wood. It would still hang up there. It's pretty rugged stuff. Hey, that's, you know what? Awakened. If that doesn't work and you're unable to get him, get a hold of me and we'll figure out. I'm sure that I can make that that we can make that connection. Well, we're glad that you're here and catching up on 1.5. You know what? I talk fast on 1.5. I'm almost impossible to listen to if you listen to me at double time. And if I'm really on one, if I'm having a night where I'm really rolling, it is next to impossible. It really is to keep up. You were training to try out for the 88 Olympic Taekwondo team. You know what, people? I swear to you, every single day, I learn something new about people on the lifeboat that just freaking fascinates me. That's absolutely amazing. It really is, Lemmy. That's cool as hell. I actually know a guy that sadly ended up in prison, but he competed in the Olympics in Taekwondo. And sadly, if you say, yeah, what was his name? The only thing I remember is, and this is going to sound terrible, but this is just how it is. It was prison, but they called him Lumpy. And he taught the P90X course that I was in, that I took. And he was in amazing physical condition, but he had a growth on his neck, and which was where the lumpy thing came from. And apparently he had been on the same prison yard for about 11 years with this lump. And I only knew him maybe a month. And before they removed it, he went and had surgery, and it was not cancerous or anything. And they removed this kind of fatty tumor that he had, but he never lost the nickname. So I can't remember what his real name was, but he ended up in prison behind some drug, crystal meth or something. He did some stupid stuff with meth, but he was a Taekwondo athlete and an amazing athlete, actually. Yeah, Lady Crispin, you missed the nose machine. Excellent. Perfect. That's what we will do then. And I will make sure that, that one way or the other, we get the two of you hooked up. James Novak, good to see you. Lady Crispin, good to see you. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. James Novak makes a great point. He says, you never know just how much money you stuck in your arm or up your nose or whatever. But the one thing he does know is it was never enough. And that's just, boy, that's your whole show right there, people. I mean, that's it in a nutshell right there. Well played, James Novak. I mean, can anybody argue that? I don't know how much I did, but it was never enough. If it was 600 or 700 a day, that was not enough. I needed to do more, and I needed to do more, and I needed to do more. Just awful stuff. But this is going to be a fight. This walk in sobriety is going to be a fight. There are things that you can do to stack the odds wildly in your favor. And we talk about them every single day. We beat the hell out of them. If you're not doing the things that we tell you will make this easier, I'm really sorry it sucks for you. It will suck less if you do what we tell you to do. Not because I'm smart, not because I came up with this stuff. I have stolen the best from everybody, right? That's what this is. This is the best of everything that we can come up with, right? For trying to get sober. But do the things that that you need to do in order to give yourself the best opportunity. Structure your life. Get a damn program. Get up every morning. Make your bed. Brush your teeth. Right? Do the things that people who are normal and not on drugs do. Journal every morning before you do anything. Right? Get up and journal. And before you go to bed, make sure you dump everything that's in your dome onto some paper. And if you're struggling and you say, I don't know what to write, Tommy, I have done a bunch of videos now where I talk about how to get you started, right? Things that you can do to get the ball rolling. And all of them are so easy. They really are. Go back to kindergarten and first grade and try to list every boyfriend you ever had or every girlfriend that you ever had. And then write down why you think it went bad. Trust me, that right there could give you 3 days of journaling and you'll probably find out a lot more about yourself than you ever wanted to. No joke. This is not hard. We make it hard. But if you do the things that the smarter people that came before us did to stay sober, it will work for you. Journaling, right? When you feel like it's just not working, you reach out to somebody, right, who understands why you are freaking out. You don't have to call them on the phone and say, listen, in the next half hour, I'm going to explain to you or try to why being without a substance that I've been with for so long causes me to panic when I feel like I do right now. And I have no idea what I can do. Explain that to somebody that's not done dope. It becomes very difficult. And you spend the whole phone call trying to make people understand why this, you shouldn't care. What, you haven't done it in like 5 months. Right? Think of how much this stuff trashed your life. Now, knock that stuff off. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't. That's why when we do group therapy, we do it with people who have done the same kinds of things. Doesn't mean people can't help you. It doesn't. But it's great to have people that you can reach out to who will just go, yeah, listen, just tell me what's going on. You don't have to try to explain to me why this is a day you feel like getting wasted. Just tell me what's going on. What are the bad things, right? Let's talk about those. Let's cut right to the chase. I wonder how many people besides me have gotten beat by an officer while handcuffed with hands behind your back. I remember looking at the mug shots and thinking over half of them. I have had that happen to me. Absolutely, I have. I had my hands cuffed behind my back. I was laying on the floor, and I had made it very difficult for them to get handcuffs on me. I mean, in their defense, I was one of those dudes who's like, just stupid. Like, you're not getting out. You got the 30 guys piled on top of you, but the adrenaline gets rolling and you think, you're not going to quit. And but when this guy finally got me cuffed, he took the back of my head like a basketball and just went bink right on the pavement. And that mug shot is the funniest thing you've ever seen because I'm self-aware. If nothing else on this planet, I'm self-aware. This, is a really good sized nose, right? I definitely have the Italian, the Italian beak. But you should have seen what this puppy looked like after this nice officer friendly gave it a good one on the ground, because it was jacked up. My arrest photo looked like I was looking out from behind a nose. Like there was this whole face with this like nose in the mouth. It was just awful. It was absolutely awful. But yeah. Lady Crispin says, God is divine. The nose thing, that's the nose machine, she means. It just feels weird, like when you jump in a pool and water gets up your nose. Lots come out. Yeah, it's a nice deal because it's going up one side and down the other. So the vast majority of the water doesn't get into your system. It's not going down your throat. It's not doing anything like that, right? It's all in this little closed by the nasal concha. I think that's the word, actually. It's that area up in here. It's about, believe it or not, it's about the size of a cue ball. There's a ton of stuff going on up in there. And getting a little nice warm water that has salt in it. And before any of you tell me that this stuff is going to give me an amoeba flesh-eating deal for my schnoz, this stuff, instead of just putting water in there, what ends up happening instead is there's also a little like thing you have to put in it and crush it down, which has some stuff to treat the water and protect you and stuff. But I don't know. For me, I've struggled with the schnoz thing for a really long time. So it would come out of my tear ducts, says Miss Dragon. By the way, Miss Dragon's latest video is freaking awesome. It's a good one, people. It really is. It's a call to action, and it's a good video, man. Proud of her. And as we talked about the other day, if it sounds like I repeat myself, there are some of you that catch every show, and there's some of you that catch every 5, which is one of the reasons that, that we do try to make sure that, info that I really want people to hear, I get out, you know what I'm saying? But Miss Dragon's hit 1,000 subscribers. Woohoo! Which means that the next step is that 4,000 hours of watch time, and then she's going to partner up with YouTube as a somebody that monetized the channel. And it's not about getting rich, right? It has never been about getting rich for any of us. But what it's about is getting the message that we're trying to get out, right? If you've got a channel, and if you got a channel that's got 1,000 people on it, you have a message and you're getting it out, right? That's a lot of people. That's way more than most YouTubers will ever get. That's a ton of people. So if what it's about is getting that message pushed out farther. And when you get into that program where you're working with the people at AdSense, and they're starting to make money off of your efforts, they'll push you. They will definitely make you a product that gets pushed farther, and that's a good thing. We're proud as hell of you, Miss Dragon. We really are. We are proud as hell of you. Awakened. Why don't you put your link up there? You're a mod. You should be able to do that. What's this? Sorry. Sadly, I'm a shorty. The cops usually took stuff out on the guys that tried to get me to calm down or to get me out of there. Yeah, I was usually pretty good about like not being a rabbit. You know what I mean? I was a guy that just gave up. I'm not much for running from the cops unless I really think I can get away with it. I'm not even going down that road because it just gets your ass kicked worse before you go to jail, and that's no fun. Going to jail sucks. Going to jail beat up sucks worse. So I was usually pretty good about just going, yeah, you got me, or whatever. But there were a few times where substances caused me to do some stupid things, and they don't have a lot of sense of humor for it. I've never once blamed a cop that roughed me up during an arrest. I usually had it coming, I got roughed up a couple of times on the inside. That was pretty messed up, where I certainly didn't do whatever. I certainly got way more than I gave, so to speak. I got tortured a couple of times in there that I don't think were very legit. I should be taking Claritin every day. I really should. I'm just so freaked out by the amount of medication that they want me to take. I mean, It's literally to the point where it's scaring the hell out of me because I should put gravy on it or something. You know what I mean? Like it's a pile of pills big enough that I don't know, or wrap it in a tortilla or something. It's just awful. That's what it is. It's just awful. Speaking of just awful and disgusting, Vegemite. It's a yeast product from Australia, and it is yeast extract because why wouldn't you extract yeast? Sorry. For those of you that like Vegemite, honestly, for those of you that do, there's something wrong with you. Just thought I'd say that. No, but I mean, everybody's got a right to their opinion, even if it's wrong. Yeah, number 4 gets it. Charlie Mullins is an idiot. I'm sorry. I love Charlie. I really do. But his taste buds, you know what's funny, Charlie? I was watching a video the other day, and it was the very first video that you ever said you liked Vegemite in. And it was so damn long ago. I was going back looking for a specific video. And just as I hit, you hear me say it had to be the first time because I went, first of all, I don't believe for a second that that Charlie likes Vegemite. He's lying just to get my goat. But yeah, it's been a long time. We do have some corrupt law enforcement these days that ruin the names of any of the good ones, especially here in West Virginia. I think that's everywhere, Tommy Bird. And the sad thing is, it only takes a couple of cops to kind of ruin the reputation of the rest of them. And then you got people that are doing everything within their power to egg them on. You know, they've reached a point. You know, if you're a criminal at this point, you know that you can run. It's, you know what I mean? You really probably ought to run. They're not going to shoot you. They're terrified of it. And it's the reason that the mindset for all of these people is, you know what? You know, they're afraid at this point. Everybody's afraid to look bad. You know, cops used to be cops. They used to chase you down, beat the piss out of you, and put you in handcuffs. Again, I never complained about it. If you're breaking the law, right? You got a lot of balls complaining when the law smacks you down, right? That was the decision I was making. I was breaking the law. I was never mad at them for doing their job, for arresting me or whatever. They were doing their job. I was doing mine. And I figure I got caught, I got caught plenty. But if you look at the amount of stuff that I did, I never did that adversarial. I never hated cops. I don't hate them now. I really don't. I don't like seeing them in my rearview mirror. But I think the vast majority of them that get into that line of work do it for the right reasons. I really do. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when certain people, have the ability to be in control of somebody, bad things can happen, right? And sometimes it brings out the best in men and women, and sometimes it brings out the worst, Yeah, see, Joe knows. Joe that says, oh, no, Vegemite. Yeah. Yuck. Yeah, terrible stuff, man. I'll tell you what, Darcy, there will be no silent pity on the lifeboat. We've all, we've all got stuff, all of us, every one of us. It's one of the things that makes this place so unique is that, whatever you bring to the table, I don't think you're never going to show up and have somebody be really shocked or offended or treat you like you're anything other than perfect, right? We all have a long way to go, right? We do. We have a long way to go, but we were born for way better than addiction. We were born for way better than addiction. It's an old cliche, but nobody ever says when I grow up, I want to be a drug addict, right? It's not something that people say for a reason. So if you're still in the life, man, do yourself a favor and, start the fight. Start it now. Get in it. I promise you will fight for every single foot that you gain, but you'll never fight for that same foot twice. The more you learn, the farther you get, the better you're going to be. And at some point, you're going to get to a point where you can look in a mirror and you can say, you know what? This is probably about what I was designed to do. Like I'm probably doing about as good a job as I can on this planet. And when that happens, I think that, there's a level of joy that can come from sobriety that too many people just don't seem to believe is possible. And look around. For real. Get in the comment section and look around, because it's happening for a lot of people. You hear me? A lot. I say it all the time. Every single person who gets sober is a miracle. It takes a miracle for somebody to get clean. But those miracles are a dime a dozen. For real. I see them every single day without fail. And a day that goes by that I don't see one of those miracles. So welcome to the boat, people. Right? We're really glad that you're here. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and I have no idea where that fur ball is. But I will see all of you tomorrow morning, bright and early, on the boat. It'll be me. We'll see you there. God bless. Bye-bye.